Welcome back to Off the Woodwork Podcast / YouTube channel. I'm joined by, well, 2/3 of us are very festive at the moment. Me and Stephen.
Grinch over there.
Wait. Give me a sec. You two keep talking. I'll be a second.
Okay, all right. Well, as you can see, Stephen's got his nice Dortmund jumper on.
Indeed.
I've got my nice Heineken one because I get sponsorship now from beer. No, I'm joking. And of course, today, when Anthony is back, we're going to be going through the bloody Liverpool game because that's what we do every week. Because he loves talking about Liverpool. And we're also going to be going through other games as well, such as...
A lot of very high-scoring games over the past week.
There's a lot of high-scoring games. You know, Boxing Day holds the record for, I think, the most goals scored in a...
Yeah, that was that crazy day from like the 1960s, wasn't there?
So there is a chance this year Boxing Day could be very high-scoring again. Don't you think?
There we go.
All
Going to the Galaxy.
Yeah, very nice. On that note, Anthony, how did we do in the fixture predictions last week?
This week was very close, actually. Third place, Stephen, with 7 points.
Oh, again.
There's your lose.
Second place, with 8 points, Matt.
Oh.
And first place, me, with 9.
Oh, right, okay.
Very close week. Which brings totals to...
I don't think I got any scorelines right this week.
I did.
Do you want me to check?
I got Brighton and Sheffield United right. I know that was a 1-0. I said 1-0.
Yeah, you got that one right. Matt, did you not? No,
I just got results right, I think.
Yeah. Well, what was the Villa Burnley score in the end?
0-0.
Burnley, yeah, 0.
No. Okay, so yeah.
Yeah, 0-0. Yeah, okay. Right. I got 1-0. I think I put for that.
Yeah, you did. I'm trying to see. I think you might be right with regards to what you're saying.
Yeah.
So the total scores now are: Stephen, you're on 26. I'm on 40. Matt's on 49. But we've got a lot of fixtures, so I could still catch up.
Oh, if you did, I'd be so gutted.
Imagine that a comeback.
Yeah, no, that'd be awful. But some of the scores we didn't see coming this week, and we shall start down in South London. Crystal Palace lost 7-0 to Liverpool.
You just want to talk about Palace doing badly.
I'm not a big fan of Palace. I thought, again, Palace, like, they'll go and get a result somewhere. So, for example, they drew with West Ham 1-0. They drew with Spurs. So it's the most Palace thing ever to then go and lose 7-0 to Liverpool at home. They're just a ridiculous team.
Adrian Hodgson.
I don't hate Roy Hodgson. Lovely, lovely man. Lovely man. I will not hear a bad thing about Roy Hodgson.
What do you make of the game, mate?
Good game. Liverpool did everything perfectly, truthfully. Lovely, a lot of good goals. I think they were actually having a competition amongst themselves for who could score the best goal. I don't know if you've seen them all, but I'm wondering if you had any opinions on what was the best one.
I know I've sort of bad-mouthed in quite a lot on this podcast, but I thought Firmino's goals are very good. Not the most crazy goals, but just technically very good.
Well, his touch for his first Firmino goal was incredible.
Festive season. Thank you.
I think Henderson and Salah had good goals. Not much I can really say that hasn't already been said about those players I just mentioned. But it was the kind of result you want to see from Liverpool, truthfully, because they have more than enough to beat Palace. They've been a bit wasteful in front of goal this season, I'd say. And they showed what they can do, just in case anyone was starting to forget how good Liverpool can be right now. So obviously, because I'm looking at it through tinted glasses as a Liverpool fan, what did you two think watching this game? Bear in mind, Matt, you're supporting Chelsea, who are also potential title contenders this season. What did you make of Liverpool's performance?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was very good. Palace obviously were crap, but I still think Liverpool played very well. I still think Liverpool are favourites for the title. I don't think anybody thinks any differently. Yeah, I mean, some of the goals were just very good. I think the fifth goal for Firmino's, that was really well played, and then obviously Salah scored a lovely goal. Yeah, it was just a very good playing Liverpool team playing a very bad Palace team. So
the thing is, though, I don't think you can blame I forgot his name just there, but the Palace goalkeeper for most of those goals, because there's not much he could. There's not much he could do to save most of them. Like, Salah's curler from outside the box. Some of the best keepers in the world would have had trouble saving that one. Same with Henry.
I think problem is I think Palace got sussed out. To be fair, actually saying that, I didn't think the first half an hour. I don't think Palace were playing too badly. They just kind of collapsed, didn't they?
It was the second half really that they just collapsed.
Yeah,
completely.
I don't know if it's just because they seem to have quite an agent squad in general.
The average age in that squad must be 30. I think most of their squad are over 30.
So maybe they just ran out of steam, especially their defence. Like you got the likes of Cahill and Tompkins coming on.
I wouldn't be surprised if on FIFA they got the lowest average pace rating of any Premier League team. They are extremely slow. I think Zaha is probably the only one with pace over 80 on FIFA in that team.
Yeah, him and Eze maybe.
Eze as well, yeah. But yeah, I just think Liverpool's high pressing, quick style of play is just too much for the aging old legs of Crystal Palace, and
I think
Palace could be in real trouble if they don't.
I think this is what I was about to say. I think Palace could be in trouble. Their next two games are Villa and Leicester. And the way the Premier League is this season, if you go and lose 3 games in a row, especially if you're in a position like Palace, then you're going to be right in the relegation battle.
I think if you're a football manager player, I think Palace is probably the hardest team you could do in the Premier League, just because of how old their squad is.
I think even if you're Arsenal at the moment, you'd probably fancy beating Palace. So that just says how badly they.
Oh God.
Could be, but then again, they drew with Spurs. So again, they're just
as a quick
very weird team, Palace.
This isn't to move the conversation on to Arsenal. I think with you said that. Did you see? Apparently, they put clauses in all the contracts of the players that if they get relegated, they all take wage cuts.
Who, Arsenal?
Yeah,
mate. I said it last week. I'll say it again. I don't see a reason why Arsenal couldn't get relegated at the moment.
Could you imagine their wage bill in the Championship? Oh my God!
If the season remains the way it is with no fans, you might be right, and I can't believe I've just said that.
Well, look, Arsenal have got...
Look at it realistically.
So Arsenal have just lost to Man City last night 4-1, obviously. Mm-hmm. They drew with Southampton. Southampton probably should have won.
Yeah.
They lost to Burnley. They lost to Everton. It's all set up for Chelsea now to go and lose to them 1-0 on Boxing Day.
I'm not going to lie, that's fair. I was actually thinking that Chelsea might drop points to Arsenal because it's the most Arsenal thing to do.
Yeah, this is what I'm thinking. But then I'm thinking again, Arsenal. Who have they got after Chelsea? They got another relegation battle with Brighton, and you think Brighton could maybe pick up points?
Relegation battle.
Brighton could pick up points against Arsenal. I don't see why not. The way Brighton have played this season,
I think anybody could pick up points against Arsenal. Even Sheffield United could. I think
there was another stat I saw. And this is actually a very good segue onto the next team. Arsenal have scored less goals since the start of November than Man United scored in one game.
And what was that game? Moving on, Man United.
Man United beat Leeds, scoring 6 goals.
Yeah, 6-2. If that doesn't sum up Leeds United at the moment, then I don't know what does.
At what
still point? Goals, still had chances to score goals, but they just can't defend to save their lives.
Yeah. People were criticising Marco Bielsa's strategy going into this game. He was going to continue playing the way they play, which is attacking. What do you think of? Do you think he deserves praise for that, or do you think he deserves because he hasn't changed? He's actually playing a way that is good, not boring. But surely, if you're a manager, you have to look at it going, playing this way with your defensive injuries. Against a team like United, you will lose. So maybe try a different approach to get points. It's like falling on your sword in a way, if that makes sense.
See, the thing is, they got a bit. I mean, they just come from a 5-2 win against Newcastle, so they're probably quite high on that. And United have gone and scored 2 goals in the first 3 minutes, which has thrown any kind of game plan out the window.
The thing is, United have actually been pretty good. Like, people seem to forget because they've had a couple of dodgy results.
Yeah.
But since Bruno Fernandes arrived at Manchester United in January, no team has got more points in the league besides Liverpool. So if you had the league table from start of February to now, Manchester United being second.
Yeah.
United are just the optimised leagues where they score goals but they can't defend. But Man United are actually winning.
You're saying that, actually. I want to bring up a point, actually. You're saying that, but...
Leeds should have scored more than just 2.
Sorry, there we go. So no, Harry Maguire has won the most aerial duels and made the most interceptions in the Premier League centre backs this season. He's won 56 aerial duels and made 29 interceptions. So you're saying they can't defend?
Well, you bloody hope so for 80 million.
No, I know, but Harry Maguire's leading the league in all these stats. Admittedly, let's say I'm tooting Liverpool's horn, but Van Dijk was in. I assume he'd be winning more aerial duels, truthfully. But Harry Maguire is clearly showing that he is doing business.
Yeah,
defensive error, and Wan-Bissaka most tackles in 2020 out of any player.
But you can make stats make anyone look good. That's the thing with stats; they're a bit misleading.
Well, you can, but at the same time, I'm not making stats up. These are the stats. You don't get most aerial duels unless you're going in and winning them.
I think the problem with United, I still see them as a team who are going to win one game and then they'll go and draw or lose to someone else.
Yeah, no, I do see that as well.
I don't think they're going to finish top 4, personally.
I think the way they're playing right now, they will. Well, I mean, think about if they win their game in hand. I think United are second if they win their game in hand.
Yeah, but I just feel like they're the team who'll slip up against people.
But once again, you're saying that like they haven't slipped up in the last 5 games realistically. Like they did at the start of the season, but they found their footing. They're playing well. Bruno Fernandes is looking good. Marcus Rashford, that man just I really don't want to like him because he's a United born and bred. How can you not like him?
What we've seen is even when Man United don't play well, they still pick up wins, like against West Ham when they had that shocking
first half. Which is the most important thing. It's not important losing games when you're playing well. It's important winning games when you don't play well. That's how you win competitions. That's how you win.
And Leeds seem to be going in the opposite direction to that at the moment. Where
United,
because Brighton have been playing relatively well this season. We'll all agree.
Yeah, but they don't pick up. They don't pick up points.
Exactly. United play poorly in some games and they're still winning. So I'd rather be in United's shoes than Brighton's.
United's next 2 games are against Leicester and Wolves. How many points will they pick out of 6?
I don't see any reason why they expect at least 4 there.
At least 4, yeah. I think they could probably get 6.
I think they could get all 6. Truthfully,
yeah.
But what they could not. I'm saying they should. Anything less than 3, they should be disappointed with. 3, they should be annoyed, and then anything higher than that should be like, okay, that's fair enough. There was another stat I wanted to. I'll bring up later that I wanted to bring back up with the Liverpool game. But I'll come to it in a bit because we'll be discussing the team of 2020. Do we think Ollie deserves more credit than he's getting, or do you think this is what do we think right now?
No, I don't think he deserves more credit. I mean, the amount of money United spend, and they should be doing where they currently are in the Premier League. So I don't think he deserves more credit.
For example, he's not won as many trophies as Mourinho or Van Gaal did, right? But after Ferguson until Solskjaer, United only had 2 games where they scored 5 or more goals. And under Solskjaer, they've had 7 games like that. So he's clearly got them playing better football.
Yeah, but they're still inconsistent.
You could also argue that maybe they're just more streaky than consistently putting in good performances. It's more they have a really good game and then they'll go and have a shit game. It's kind of
I think if they can cut down the amount of games with careless draws or careless mistakes that lead to defeats, United are more than good enough to finish top 4 if they can cut those out.
Yeah, it's just about doing that and finding that consistency and
Anyway, so United are one of the teams who've picked up form. One team that's had a little slip in form is Tottenham. They lost 2-0 at home to Leicester.
Good riddance.
Yeah. I'm happy. Well, I was happy with it, to be fair. And I'm sure you definitely were. So what did you make of that? Because Leicester should have won 3-0, really. That offside was pretty ridiculous.
I thought Tottenham were absolutely awful in that game. They looked terrible.
Yeah.
Go on, Stephen. Go on.
Honestly, Heung-min Son looked absolutely useless in that game, and that's not often that I would say that. But in that game, he looked terrible. He looked like he just couldn't do anything.
On his day, he's incredible. But I've kind of made the observation that if you take Kane and Son out of that Tottenham team, I don't think they're finishing higher than 6th or 7th.
No.
Yeah. You say that though in most sports, you take out the 2 best players and suddenly you got a team that's not nearly as good.
Like if Liverpool could take out Van Dijk and Alisson, they didn't look nearly as good.
Yeah, but then they've been doing all right. So it's
tough.
Win,
though.
But I think Tottenham especially. I just, if Kane or Son get injured again, then that's when they're going to start slipping up. But at the moment, I still expect them to start picking up again. But Leicester have been starting to be more consistent as well. They've been playing well.
I will hold off my thoughts on Leicester's title challenges or top 4 finish, because this time last season we were all saying the same with how well they're playing, and then they nosedived and finished outside the top 4 when they should have finished 3rd, realistically. So I'm going to wait a bit. Leicester are playing well right now, but we know they can do that. It's whether they can maintain this.
So does Jamie Vardy's firing.
Yeah, but even like I said, it's not just him. You've got to have the defense and the goalkeeper on form. They got a good team. They do have a good team.
They have a very balanced team, I'd say. They got quality all around the pitch. They haven't really got any particular weak points.
Like I think Telemans, Maddison, and
maybe the wingers, and I'm not saying they've got weak wingers. I'm saying like they've got a good right back, they've got solid centre backs, good goalkeeper, probably one of the best midfield trios in the league. Yes, Maddison and Didi Tielemans, like there's not much wrong with that. Like the bigger thing against Vardy's is age. That's it.
Yeah, if
Vardy was 4 years younger, he'd probably be the best striker in the league. Truthfully, if he was 4 years younger,
arguably he's in the top 3 already.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He'd be the best striker in the league if he was 4 years younger. So yeah, they've got a great manager, and that's not just like Brendan Rodgers. You see it with Celtic how they're struggling now since he's left. Yeah, okay, Scottish League and English League, whatever, but like Celtic are not nearly looking as comfortable as they had. Like they got 106 points under Brendan Rodgers, and undefeated, invincibles, all of this. He's come to Leicester. He's clearly got Leicester playing better than they were before he came here. And Celtic are suffering. So you just have to look at that to show you how good a manager Brendan Rodgers actually is. Not his Liverpool stint. Look at his Celtic stint. And I think he's got them playing well. It's just now they need to maintain this, build on it, keep it consistent. This season they could challenge for the league title because this season's very close, but not if they're not consistent.
Because that's the thing to be one of those teams. Like they said, they haven't had a draw yet. They've either lost or won. So there's that sort of team where you just never know what to expect. Like at their best, they're amazing, and then some weeks they just look terrible.
They were very poor against Liverpool, and I'm not
saying very poor against Fulham as well. They were awful.
Yeah, I'm not saying that you need to be able to beat the team that's ahead of you to win the league. You could lose twice to Liverpool and still win the league, but it shows that maybe against top teams they will drop points. I know they beat Tottenham. I know they beat City, but City just seem to be missing something sometimes. But I want to see Leicester do it now against everyone, not just teams like some weeks and some weeks not.
Yeah, for them it's just about building that consistency.
I don't know if I want to see it because that might mean they'll finish above us. But yeah, I get the point you're trying to make there, Anthony. Their next game's quite tough though. They got United next. That'll be interesting.
I think that'll be an interesting one. That really is. I don't see that game being a draw. I think one team's walking out with 3 points there. I think that's going to be what score did I even give it actually? Oh yeah, I think it's going to be 3-2 to one of the teams. I think it's either 3-2 to one team or 3-2 to the other. I do not see this being a low-scoring game or a draw.
Interesting.
I will not tell you who I said. I think it's 3-2 though.
But we will come to that a little bit later. Is there any other game you want to talk about from the week? Any game that stood out to you?
Chelsea.
Do you want to talk about Chelsea at all?
I can talk about Chelsea.
Matt loves talking about Chelsea.
Yeah, Chelsea is my favourite. So yeah, we beat West Ham 3-0. Scoreline was a bit flattering, I'd say.
It wasn't vintage.
We were 1-0 up, and it was really looking like West Ham could score at any stage.
Yeah, I was going to say it wasn't like West Ham didn't give you any hassle. They still came out and played relatively well, and then 2 late goals from Tammy. I did want to mention Timo Werner really needs to work on his finishing. He had a couple of chances.
Oh Jesus! I was getting vexed. I was just like, what the hell are you doing?
Do you think it's an ability issue or a confidence issue?
Confidence. It's very clearly confidence. Because to get into the positions that he's in, it's clearly like he's got the ability and he's doing everything else very well. is his confidence. Once he gets a couple of goals, like if he gets a goal in his next game, and then one in the next game, and then one in the next game, he'll be rolling. It's not like getting 2 or 3 goals in one game. It's he needs to get them in consecutive games, and then he'll be rolling.
Because you see, he's not really taking with his shots. He's not trying to take risks. He's just trying to blast them. Really, he's not like trying to curl it into the corner or try something like a chip or anything like that. He's just trying to go bog standard, blast it.
Yeah,
somewhere.
He just seems to do the wrong. He just seems to make the wrong decision every time when it comes to shooting.
Yeah.
But he still manages. Again, he managed to pick up an assist. So he's still doing things. That's
what I mean. He's doing well. But you didn't sign him to make assists. You signed him to score goals.
Yeah, but then we're playing him out on the left wing. So, I'd argue he's out.
Take up with Lampard.
I'd argue he's out.
Take up with Lampard.
Yeah.
Oi, Frankie, what you doing?
Frank, you mug. Yeah. To be honest,
if you did want to play as a striker, we'd have to either get rid of Giroud or Abraham. I don't really see that happening. Maybe Giroud, but not.
Abraham didn't do anything in that game really. Giroud is probably better coming off the bench at the moment. Although
both of his goals came from other people's hard work in that game.
Yeah. Also, the other problem is that obviously Ziyech is injured. Pulisic has just come back. So we ain't got anybody on the wing.
I think when he's fit, truthfully, when he's fit, Pulisic is your best player. He was incredible. He was incredible, in my opinion, against West Ham. Some of his runs.
Against West Ham?
Yeah.
I didn't think he did anything.
He had the... Ferner's first should have been goal was all Pulisic. Yeah. If Ferner had scored, you would be saying Pulisic did stuff. But we've seen before, like when he is fit, he is exceptional.
Yeah,
the problem is his fitness rate is not the best.
If he can stay fit, then I see no reason for it. I tell you, he was awful. Jorginho, bloody awful. And there's still a group of Chelsea fans on Twitter who are convinced Jorginho's the best player at the club for some reason. I don't get it.
Who would you say is Chelsea's top player right now?
At the moment, if I had to pick a player of the year, it would be either Reece James or Kante, probably. Because I think Kante's been playing quite well.
I would have thought you would have said Thiago Silva.
Nah. Thiago Silva's brought a lot of solidity, shall we say, to the back line. But I think Kante just works so hard in that midfield.
He is and also, player,
and Reece James is just looking better and better. So if I had to pick a player of the year so far, it'd probably be between them two.
Was it 2015 or 2016 Leicester won the Premier League? Was it
2014, 15, wasn't it?
It was not 14. It wasn't 14.
Or 15, 16. It was around that.
I think it was 16. It was 16. Kante kind of comes out of nowhere. Not really a big name. One's Premier League 2016. One's at 2017. One's the World Cup 2018. If you're talking about a career that went from like very little to one of the biggest names in the world in a quick succession, Kante is incredible. It's a real like rags to riches story.
Yeah,
great player.
No, he has been right. Back to Chelsea though, I still think we need to play better than we did against West Ham because that 3-0 scoreline was really flattering, and our last 2 goals did come out of nowhere. So yeah, that's what I think about that. Which is why I'm a bit scared about Arsenal on Boxing Day.
What about, is Chilwell's injury serious? Is there any news on that?
He's going to be. Yeah, he's again. That'll be a miss because Emerson is bloody awful. Alonso's been ousted. No one knows where he is.
The only thing Alonso's worse
I think
Chilwell's is driving.
Yeah, well, great. I think Chilwell's supposed to be out too. Not long, 2 or 3 games maybe.
Yeah, that's what they said about Thiago as well.
Well, yeah.
Where is Thiago? Like,
he's back in training. Clearly, they said that they didn't think the injury at Everton was serious, but then a week or so later, they started to realise it was a bit more serious than they originally thought. So he was still never a long-term injury. I'm saying like it's been 2 months. Long-term to me is always 4 months, 3 months a lot longer, right? He'll definitely be back by the start of January. He may be back before then. There is no confirmation if he'll be back before then, but he could be back against Newcastle, against West Brom. I'd probably start him in one of those 2 games if he's fit, just because they're games that are going to be less intense to come back to. Jota's still out for 2 months, 2.5 months. Gomez, no idea when he's back. Mathip's made of glass, so he's not injured right now, but he could be by the time I finish this sentence.
Garth Cook's thought he was playing.
Matip's fit, but he's injured. He's so injury prone, it's ridiculous. Van Dijk's still out for the season, although apparently he's already back in like light training, like he's kicking a ball about and such already after tearing his ACL. So he could actually be back like earlier than we thought.
He could do a John Cena at the Royal Rumble, just turn up one game.
I just want him to run onto the pitch at halftime with that music.
Yeah. Another team actually.
It's Van Dijk.
Another team who've picked up a bit of form is Burnley. Actually, Wolves obviously went and beat Chelsea, so obviously the next thing for Wolves to do is to go and lose 2-1 to Burnley.
I did not see that coming. I did not see them losing to Burnley.
Yeah, but they drew with Aston Villa 0-0, obviously, and they also beat Arsenal recently. This is kind of what Burnley did last season, isn't it? They started off really badly. People saying they could be in a relegation fight, and then come January. They got themselves out of the relegation fight in general because they started winning games. So it looks like Burnley maybe are doing the same thing at the moment.
Yeah,
possibly.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll go down. I think Sean Dyche's got Burnley sorted to go down.
Burnley are like a cockroach, and I don't mean that as an insult. They're indestructible. No matter how much is thrown at them and how difficult the odds look, they'll still be crawling away.
Brilliant.
Why do you think then they always seem to start poorly? When they didn't really you can't really blame, there's like a Chelsea where there's like a new team that's gelling. Like they only signed that one player.
No, they've already got
it's the opposite. It's the opposite
11,
then. It's the opposite. They're not signing any players. They had players injured. They were not bringing in people to help cover. But with Burnley, every team has it, to be fair. Every team has a period of the season where they dip in form. Like Liverpool, it's the end of January, February, March. Liverpool are normally bad. That's when, like, if you remember.
I look forward to it then.
But Chelsea have also got, like, you could probably tell me there's roughly a time of the season where Chelsea start to dip. Every team
we always have a bad start because like all of our best players get nicked by everyone else. So we always have a bad start, and then we really have a good.
But that's the same with Arsenal. Every season, Arsenal look okay at the start. You're like, oh, finally they're back to like somewhat, and then they just
nosedive.
Apart from Arsenal, it's been all season long for 15 years.
Well, no, because what I mean is we were praising Arteta at the start of the season about how well he'd done. And
at the end of last season, they looked good. End of season, they won the Charity Shield. We're all thinking, I tell you what, this
won the FA Cup as well. They beat Chelsea, they beat Liverpool.
I tell you what,
Arsenal finally back, and then Aubameyang went on holiday.
And then Aubameyang got his $350,000 a week contract and thought, okay, I'm not that fussed anymore.
It's fine. When you go down to the Championship, it gets halved.
Unbelievable, yeah.
Just imagine Aubameyang in the Championship.
That'd be class. No, I mean, he'd be trying to get out.
I mean, he plays internationally for Gabon, so he must play against some bloody awful teams. You know, I mean,
he's used to being the best.
I'm sure he's came up against worse defenders than Pontus Jansson and Ethan Pinnock. Let's just say that.
Anyway,
I feel bad for Arsenal fans, but at the same time, some of them are like the worst fans in sports, so partially they deserve it.
That's my clip of the year, the one of Ty going on at Morpay.
My favorite clip is it was this year where Clark told Ty to shut up 7 times in a row. Ty shouted to speak, like, shut up. It's just amazing.
And you want to talk about Spitty in Gary Neville's team of the year, don't you?
You're awful.
What do you want to say? So go through the team of the year.
Okay, so team of the year for 2020. Not like a team of the season, team of the year.
Spitty and Gary Neville's.
I'm not responding to you, Conor Spitty. Karen Neville's team of the year, team of 2020. In goal, it's Premier League as well, just Premier League. Goal, Alisson. Yep. Right back, Trent. Left back, Robertson. The 2 centre backs, Virgil van Dijk, Connor Cody. 3 in midfield are Bruno Fernandes, Kevin De Bruyne, Jordan Henderson. 3 up front, Salah on the right, Son on the left, Harry Kane in the middle.
Okay.
What do we think?
So,
Connor Cody, maybe not.
Who would you have instead?
See, I think Connor Cody, I think it's fair.
I think he's completely fair. I can't think of who else you'd have it instead.
For the whole of 2020?
For the whole of 2020. Not just this season.
Yeah.
I think ability-wise, he Obviously, there are better players than him, but in terms of the year he's had, again, Wolves, they finished 7th. I mean,
but it's how they played. It's not ability, because if we're going to talk ability, then there's plenty of players that do not play at the level there. Like Neymar's ability is incredible. No one's saying he's a top 5 player in the world.
Are there any
Tottenham
centre-backs that get in above Cody?
No.
Are there any Chelsea centre-backs that get in over Cody?
No.
Are there any...
Thiago Silva's been there 2 months, so he's out.
Are there any Man United centre-backs that get in over Connor Cody?
No.
Definitely not.
So there you go.
So who are you left with? No one from Arsenal's getting in. Gabriel's been there 2 months once again. David Luiz definitely not.
Leicester, I mean...
Soyuncu's probably the only player who could potentially be there instead of Cody. But Cody's had good performances for England as well.
Yeah. Also, Connor Cody's got to deal with 10 Portuguese people all around him, and he probably can't understand a word they're saying. So he's done pretty well in that respect. Anyway, moving on to the midfield, Bruno Fernandes, Kevin De Bruyne, and Jordan Henderson.
I don't think you have any arguments against those three.
No, that's fine. Yeah.
I think if you're going to drop any one of them out, it's probably Fernandes.
But I don't think he deserves to be dropped out. So,
who else could be in there instead of Fernandes?
Kevin De Bruyne was player of the season, so he has to be in there. Henderson finished second in the player of the season voting, so he has to be in there. And if Bruno Fernandes had been signed in the summer instead of January, he probably would have been in the race for that title as well. So realistically, I thought Fabinho might have made it into the team, truthfully. But I can't really argue against the three they put in.
No, I think that's probably fair.
If Fabinho was to put in, I think he would have to be put in over Jordan Henderson if he was put in, and I don't think he should have. So
Fernandes is probably the penalty taker for the team as well, because that's all he's got in his locker. So that's probably fair. And then the other big talking point, I suppose, is the left wing spot.
Yes, that's the big talking point.
So you've got Heung-min Son, who takes the trophy, but you could also have Sadio Mane or Harvey Barnes. And what do you think of that?
So I listened to the reasoning, and with the reasoning, I kind of have to agree. Son and Mane, both very good players, play for the team. But if you look at the stats of who's had more influence, they played similar. But the thing is, they both similar levels of performances, similar levels. I mean, I think Mane's the better player, truthfully, but Son has got more goal contributions. He's got more assists. So I think when you bring it to that, Son does deserve it more than Mane. It doesn't mean I don't think Mane's the better player. I just think Son has done more. I think Mane's gone for a bit of a dip recently. Like he's not getting as many goals as you usually expect from him. He seems to be getting muscled out the game a bit more. Like I think teams are actively trying to get him out the game. Like don't let him get the ball or have time with the ball. Or, so I think there's that to take into account.
So I think if you take Son out of Tottenham, that will have more of an impact if you take Mane at Liverpool. I think because if you take Mane out, I mean you got Jota to come in. If you take out Son, who have you got? Lucas Moura. I mean, I don't think it means that losing Mane when
Gareth Bale.
Like Mane is still an important member of Liverpool's team, but I think Liverpool as a team are overall better than Tottenham, or at least more going depth wise. Yeah. Whereas I do agree with your point there.
Did Son win the Asian Games this year? Was that this year or last year? That they won. South Korea won the Asian Games.
I think it was 2019, if that's what you're asking.
Remember, because he won that, he got out of military service, didn't he? So
yeah. Brilliant.
Is it awful? If it was awful that part of me was lucky hoping they didn't, so he would have to go, so Tottenham would be down one player.
Yeah.
So to hope for that. It doesn't matter because it didn't happen. So
yeah. But yeah, no, I think that team they've made together is probably fair.
So the big issue people had online was clearly people didn't understand what Team of 2020 meant. People going, oh, why is Van Dijk there? He got injured back in October. It's like, this isn't for this season. It is for the calendar year 2020. Thiago Silva's been incredible. He's been much better than Virgil van Dijk in the last couple of weeks.
They played in the Premier League again.
Exactly. People didn't seem to grasp what Team of 2020 meant, which makes me sad for the overall intelligence of people.
Have you seen football Twitter? I mean, I think they got a combined IQ of about -5.
Yeah.
You just had to read the thing, and people literally going like, 2020, mate, not 2020/2021 team. People, I see
the
it
only
now.
group of people on Twitter that are worse than football Twitter are K-pop Twitter. They're the only people who are worse.
I can't say I delve into K-pop Twitter, but I definitely
Good.
take it.
Don't.
One for it.
It's a sad place.
So there's one stat with regards to the man on the right, Mohamed
He
Salah.
loves stats today, doesn't he?
This is an important one. I want to get your opinions on. So after his goal contributions at Palace, 1 assist, 2 goals, I believe. Mo Salah's now got a contribution of an average of 0.97 goal contributions, so goal assists per game, 0.97, which is the highest in Premier League history. Thierry Henry's got 0.96. So statistically, Salah's the best forward to ever play in the Premier League. I do not think he is, but according to the stats, he's got the most impressive goal and assist per game ratio of ever.
That's because he probably takes more shots than a lot of other people.
More than Thierry Henry did?
I mean, have you seen Salah? I mean, I don't think that guy's passing his entire life.
Well, no, it's goal and assists, Stephen. He actually does get a lot of assists.
A lot of that is probably more goals than assists.
I'm going to look this up because I guarantee he's got far more assists than you actually think he does.
Yeah, he probably has got a few assists, but if he sees that there's an opportunity to score, he's going for it.
Of course he does. He's an attacker.
Fair enough. I mean, I'm not saying this is necessarily a bad thing. I'm just saying that's the truth. It's very much that sort of Iron Robin player who just always wants to score.
Yeah, Robin was a greedy kid. Give you that.
But you don't become one of the best, inside forwards in the game if you don't always want to go for goal.
That's true.
Okay, so this is I can only get Premier League ones, which I don't know how many of these are Chelsea. Can I do just?
I don't think he scored many for Chelsea. I remember he scored in the Cup semi-final against Tottenham.
Okay, so he has 88 goals and 32 assists, which is actually a relatively decent amount of assists for a player whose main job is to score. He's got 11 goals with his right foot and 72 with his left. But yeah, he is a player who I think if Mohamed Salah was Brazilian or from Argentina or Spanish, something he would get a lot more praise, like be much more highly regarded. I think because he's Egyptian and I'm not making a statement like he's the best player in the world. I'm saying when you look at his numbers, when you look at the consistency of his performances, you kind of have to accept Salah as like almost in a way maybe a bit underrated because he is not from one of these big footballing nations.
It's for a lot of players though, where if they're not from a top nation, they're just overlooked.
Well, Mahrez is another one I'd say. I'd say Mahrez sometimes gets overlooked because
I think Mahrez is very underrated. I think he's probably Man City's best winger.
Right now, yeah. Because Bernardo Silva got pushed into the midfield, so yeah.
And Sterling's been a bit off this season.
But it's very on and off. Big players get overrated, or French players get overrated, or Spanish. Like a lot of players from these big nations get overrated. There's a lot of players that go under the radar because they're from a nation that's realistically it's never going to do that well in World Cups or competitions. But it doesn't
take away from woeful in Russia. Jesus, they were terrible.
But yeah. Anyway, was there something else you wanted to talk about, Ant, or have I made that up?
Predictions. So obviously, Karen also gave the 2021 predictions. Not talking about like league finishes, realistic. We did our Premier League predictions for Golden Boot, clean sheet, and the league. But I wanted to see if you had any other kind of predictions for football in the Premier League and the Premier League in 2021. Is there anything you see potentially happening, or could happen, or will happen?
Someone will activate Haaland's release clause. I see that.
Chelsea are going to sign Declan Rice, and we're also going to go in for Haaland.
I have a feeling I know who will go in for Haaland, and I think they'll get him. And mainly because Aguero
Man City.
Man City. I think Man City going for Haaland.
I think Chelsea are going to go for Haaland.
I'm going to make a prediction, and I'm hoping I'm wrong. But given stories we've heard recently, I think in the summer Mohamed Salah will leave Liverpool.
Really?
Real Madrid.
Though there's talks that apparently he's unhappy there, and some clubs are looking so. And I think, given his age, I think he's 28 now. He's got 2.5 years left on his contract. Liverpool cash in and they'll use the money to sign a big name. I'm not saying what name because I don't know, but I think when they sell Salah, maybe when they've got the money, so sell Salah. Salah's going to cost you 125 million at least, regardless of who you are.
At least 100.
Liverpool know the player they've got. They've no rush if he's 2.5 years into his contract. They're no rush. They got a year. They got a year realistically before they've actually got to sell him. They can take their time. 125 will be what they expect at least for a player like Salah. If Hazard at 29-30 was 100 million, Salah's, and that was his last year of his contract as well, wasn't it, Hazard? Salah's 125 with 2.5 years left, or 2 years left by this point. And I think they'll use the money to go in for. I can't believe I'm going to say it because I don't believe it would happen. But if they sell Salah for that kind of money, they're going in for Sancho or Mbappe with that kind of money. Truthfully, I don't think they'll get Mbappe or they could afford him. I'm saying if they had the money from the Salah sale, that's the two players that Liverpool would go in for.
Oh, man, I would
Another prediction.
Brentford
are going to win the Carabao Cup and win the playoffs or get automatically promoted. And when we win the Carabao Cup again, the Europa League, we're going to win the Europa League. Mark my words.
I'm going to tell you now, the team that are going to win the Carabao Cup are Tottenham. That's going to be Mourinho's trophy.
No, it's Man City. It's the Man City Cup.
Trophy. Yeah, it's the Man City trophy. It's Man City.
I know, but Mourinho wins a trophy everywhere he goes. Tottenham are going to win the Carabao Cup.
I'm hoping and praying. I'm selling my soul to Satan to hope that we don't get Man City in the semi-final.
I'm telling you now, put money on Spurs to win the Carabao Cup.
Spurs play tonight, don't they?
Yeah, they got Stoke.
Yeah, they've got Stoke.
What was I going to say?
It's a Wednesday night, not Tuesday night. Damn.
Is the semi-final in the Carabao Cup? Is it 2 legs again this year?
You don't know how it works.
Because it's
we never get that
legs.
far, so I stopped paying attention to the Carabao Cup.
I think I know the FA Cup's 2 legs, but I don't think the Carabao Cup is.
No, the FA Cup's 1 leg.
No, FA Cup, the semi-finals at Wembley, it's 1 leg. Carabao Cup's always been 2 legs. It's just because of COVID. I don't know.
Oh,
that's
so
what I'm asking.
I must have got them both mixed up. Yeah,
that's right. That's what I'm asking. One more prediction from me, and it's a prediction that I'd love to happen. The Premier League comes down to the last game of the season.
Yes,
I could see that happening. Yeah,
I'd shit myself, but that'd be class.
Who's it between them the last game of the season?
Ideally Chelsea, but probably Liverpool City.
When you say Chelsea, with who? Well, I mean, it's like Chelsea.
No, okay, I'll say Chelsea. Chelsea, Liverpool, City.
I think it's those 3.
Yeah, let's do that.
Not Tottenham.
Not Tottenham.
How many games is it into the Premier League actually? How many games have teams played?
14, I think.
I wanted us to do when we're halfway through the season, react to our Premier League predictions and see how fucking wrong we are.
Yeah, we'll do that.
I went from mine last week, like a couple of days ago, and oh my fucking god, some of them are atrocious.
Yeah. Okay, we'll do that. But at that time, we got a lot of predictions to go through this coming up Christmas. So shall we crack on?
Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go
on with the predictions.
We are starting with Leicester City versus Manchester United. Anthony, you said it'll be 3-2, but who are you predicting it will be 3-2 to?
3-2 to Manchester United. They're good form right now. They're going on quite a run of picking up points. Leicester have been good as well, but they've also been a bit inconsistent. They've dropped points far more recently than United did. Yeah, they beat Tottenham, but I think United going forward will have too much for Leicester.
Okay, on that coast, Leicester haven't drawn again yet this season, have they?
They have not.
So I'm going to go for Leicester United to be 2-2. Both playing quite well, both capable of scoring goals. I'm expecting it to be over 2 goals in the game at least.
Come on, Rashford.
2-2.
You said this. You said this is going to be a really exciting game, and that usually, when we say that, usually means it's going to be a crap game. So I'm going to say 1-0.
That is not true. Most time I say it's
but
exciting.
It's always the case, but the games we think are going to be the most exciting are always the dull ones. So I'm going to say 1-0.
Doesn't mean it's dull. 1-0 doesn't mean it's dull. It just means it's a low scoreline. You could have a really good game with 2 great goalkeepers that game, and it's 1-0. I mean,
in that case, I look forward to your predictions for Fulham versus Southampton. Stephen starts off.
To be honest, I mean, Fulham. I think if you would have said this maybe a month ago, you would have said this was easily a Southampton win, but it's not as easy to predict as some people might think.
Yep,
Saying that, though, I still do think Southampton are going to win, and I'm going to say 3-1.
Okay. I agree with Stephen. It's probably harder to predict. I think it'll be a low-scoring game, this one. I'm going to go for 1-0 Southampton.
I've gone in between you both. I've went 2-0 to Southampton. Don't think really need to say any more than you two have said. I think it'll be a closer game than you think, but I think Southampton have just been very, very good recently and will get the points.
Fair enough. Aston Villa versus Crystal Palace. I personally, the way Palace played the other day, Aston Villa just beat Brom 3-0. I'm going to go for Aston Villa to win this one 3-1. 3-1 to Villa. And I think get another 3 points.
I think this is going to be a much duller game than you're predicting. I think it's just going to be a really boring 1-0 to Villa. Just a really scrappy, pretty non-exciting goal.
Yeah,
1-0.
Anthony?
I'm predicting this to be 2-1 to Villa. I think Palace will be a bit more sturdy at the back after the result they had at the weekend. But I think Villa have just got too much going forward right now. So yeah, 2-1.
Arsenal versus Chelsea. Stephen, what do you reckon?
Well, you said it'll be the most Arsenal thing ever if they go out and beat Chelsea in this game. So keeping that in mind, I'm going to say 4-0 to Chelsea.
4-0? 4-0 to Chelsea? That's mental. I respect it.
I feel this is a running gag on this show where we talk about, it's the most thing to do, and then we go the opposite.
Yeah, because that's what happens.
We've done that a few times.
That's what happens. Anthony, what do you think?
I think 2-0 to Chelsea. Chelsea, once again, too much. Arsenal have barely scored since the start of November. So money's on Chelsea to get the points here.
Okay, so you both think Chelsea are going to win comfortably. That's interesting. I am very less optimistic, but I'm still going to back my team. I've also gone for 2-0 Chelsea. I just...
But it's Boxing Day, anything goes.
Anything goes. Boxing Day could be a very high-scoring day for the Premier League in general, which brings us to our next game, Man City versus Newcastle, where I have gone for City to beat Newcastle 5-1. I'm expecting a very bad week for Newcastle. 5-1 Man City.
I'm going to be going a little... Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, go on, Stephen. No, go on. You go. Then, Master.
Because what I was going to say was a good segue. I said I think I'm going to be a lot more conservative in this, and I'm going to say it's going to be a 2-0 to Man City, because for some reason, whenever City have been playing more defensive-minded sides this year, they've seemed to struggled. But I still think they still have enough quality to get goals. So I'm going to say 2-0.
I've went with City to win 3-1 here. I agree with you that City have got far too much for Newcastle, but City haven't had that many high-scoring results as they usually have. They had Arsenal 4-1, and they had was it also in the league Carabao Cup? They had another high-scoring one.
Arsenal was in the Carabao Cup.
No, they had that a couple of days ago or yesterday. But I'm saying they've had another one as well. But City, we normally expect more high-scoring results from City than we've been getting this season. So that's why I'm going for a 3-1 instead of... If this was City last year, I probably would have went for a 5-1 like you, Matt. But
Sheffield United versus Everton.
Well, you went for 5-1 in this... Sorry. Again, another seven.
No, Stephen, go first. Stephen, go first.
You go first.
You said 5-1 to City in the last game. So I said 5-1 to Everton in this game. Well, not because I already had that down, but it's just coincidentally. Yeah, I did say 5-1.
I love how excited you were to say that, though. I'm a big fan of that. You're expecting some high-scoring games there. Chelsea to beat Villa 4-0. I mean, Arsenal even. Sheffield to beat lose to Everton 5-1. Okay, I'm going to go for Everton to win as well. I'm going to go for a bit less. I'm going to go 3-1 to Everton.
I've gone for 2-0 to Everton. I think Sheffield United are going to break Derby's record of the least amount of points in a season.
Sheffield United are a better team. It's just the momentum, the negative.
Derby hold the record with 11 points after 38 games. Sheffield have currently got 4 points after 14.
You should have put that in your predictions for 2021. Anyway, Leeds versus Burnley.
I should have. It's there now.
High scoring games so far. Stephen, what do you reckon then for Leeds versus Burnley?
To be honest, I think if this was a month ago, I would have said Leeds to destroy Burnley, but Burnley have been doing all right in the last couple of weeks, so I'm going to say 2-2.
Do you know what? Yeah, this is a really tough one.
The unstoppable first versus the
this is probably the tough. This is probably the toughest game.
You got out in the end there, Stephen.
Yeah.
You got there.
This is probably the toughest game to predict this week, Leeds versus Burnley. I'm going to go, and this is really random, but I'm going to go for Leeds to win 4-2.
It sounds about right for Leeds, let's be honest.
Yeah, but then you think Burnley, they don't concede goals, but I don't know. 4-2 Leeds, yeah, screw it.
I've went for 3-1 to Leeds. I think Burnley have been doing a bit better, but Burnley don't normally go out and attack. They sit back, so I don't see them put the pressure on Leeds' defence. Realistically, like that's the thing. Leeds' defence crumbles with pressure on it, and Burnley don't go put pressure on defences. Whereas Leeds have got a lot going forward. They've been doing well at that side of the pitch. It's the defence that's shocking. So, 3-1.
Well, I said last week Leeds played cocaine football. I think Burnley played Rehypnol football.
Very good. Very good.
Oh, my word.
Very good. West Ham versus Brighton. Anthony.
I went with 2-1 at West Ham here. West Ham have been doing well. So have Brighton, but West Ham have been doing, like I say, Brighton are doing well. They've been playing well. West Ham have been doing well, but they've never really had super high scoring results. They've had a few, but they kind of seem to be a team that they get the job done. They'll get the win, but then they don't overexert themselves.
Yeah.
So 2-1 at West Ham.
On that note, I'm going to go for 2-1 as well to West Ham. I'm expecting Brighton to not do well against West Ham, but I'm expecting their week to get a little better come the end of it.
Oh, no, you haven't.
Liverpool. Sorry, Stephen, you still got to do yours.
Well, I'm going to be boring. I mean, I should try and be different, but I can't. I can't see this being anything other than a 2-1. It's just so obvious.
So if I'm putting a bet on any scoreline this week, it's West Ham to beat Brighton 2-1.
Yeah, this is the most 2-1 game in existence.
Liverpool versus West Brom. Can Big Sam be the man to finally end the winning streak at home at Anfield? Anthony.
3-0 to Liverpool.
Okay. 4-0 to Liverpool.
I can't believe we could even suggest that.
4-0 to Liverpool. Stephen.
5-0 to Liverpool. Let's raise the stakes. Why not?
3-0, 4-0.
I will say this, though. I do not want Liverpool to lose that unbeaten home run in the Premier League until they're at 85 wins at least.
Yeah, that'd be class.
Imagine losing it to Sam Allardyce's West Brom. Jesus Christ.
I genuinely might break my TV if that happens. I genuinely break my TV if that happened.
It's a mad season. Wolves versus Tottenham. I am going to go for... it pains me 3-2 to Tottenham.
I've gone for a very different score. I'm going to go for 0-0.
Yeah.
How can you be the person most exciting scores? You got a 4-0, a 5-1, a 5-0, and a 0-0. God, you're living it up.
I feel like these. I don't know why. I just have that feeling that this is just going to be one of those games where you expect it to be a lot better than it is. It disappoints.
I went for 2-1 to Spurs. I think Wolves have been very inconsistent this season. Spurs need to bounce back from their last 2 losses, and they probably will. So 2-1 and Harry Kane to injure a player. The stupid backing into them.
Maybe. Crystal Palace versus...
They'll feel strongly about that, as you can tell.
Leicester. I know, I can definitely tell. Crystal Palace versus Leicester. Anthony, go on.
3-1 at Leicester.
Okay. Yeah, expected a bad week for Palace.
I haven't listened to United, Leicester, and they want to maintain pressure on top place. So, 3-1 and Palace.
Yeah, it's going to be a bad week for Palace in my predictions. 2-0 Leicester.
Yeah, I've predicted Palace to score a single goal in these predictions, so I'm going to say 2-0 to Leicester.
There you go. Another pretty tough game. Chelsea versus Aston Villa. Stephen.
I think it's going to be 2-0 to Chelsea. I don't think it's going to be as easy as their other game. I think Villa will give them a good go, but we just see with Chelsea, they just seem to eke out these results where they might not play well, but they just get the goals somehow. So 2-0, fairly meh game.
Okay, I'm going to go for Chelsea to win 3-2. Another 3-2. I think there could be goals in this one. Anthony?
I've gone for Chelsea to win 3-1, but I think this would be a scoreline that flatters. I think
it's going to be similar to the West Ham game, I think.
Yeah.
Similar sort of.
Yeah. The scoreline will make Chelsea look better than they probably would have been in the game. I just think with Thiago Silva at the back and Mendy in goal, Villa will have the chances, but Chelsea will just be able to keep them at bay.
Fair.
I think there'll be a bit of shenanigans in this game, though. Either like an offside call that's a bit dodgy or a penalty that's a bit... I don't know
maybe.
Which side, but I think there's going to be something
Red
like
card.
We didn't touch on it earlier, actually, but did you see that offside call in the Leicester game? That was ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, mate. Yeah, it's just...
Madison actually tweeted about it after full time. He was like, this is ridiculous. My bloody armpit hair's offside. What are you doing?
He got called offside.
Shave him next time.
It was about a yard onside if you don't count the part of the body that you're not supposed to play football with anyway.
Also, Nuno kicked off at Lee Mason as well.
Why are they offside if they're using a part of the body that can't score a goal? Like,
I don't know, man. Everton versus Manchester City. I am going to go... That's a toughie. I'm going to go 1-1.
Yeah, I said the same. I think this is a 1-1. It's got that sort of vibe to it.
I went for a very different scoreline to you two. I think both teams defensively can be a bit lax. I think Pickford is prone to mistakes. So I have Man City winning, but I have this been 3-2 to Man City.
Okay. Yeah, it's either City win or draw in my books. I don't think Everton are going to win.
I don't think Everton will go out to win though as well. I think they'll set up to just not lose.
Yeah.
Which means
I think it's fair enough.
It's a toughie.
Yeah.
Brighton versus Arsenal. Stephen.
I think this is, it's a relegation scrap, funnily enough. So I think both teams are really going to want to go out and really try and get the results. So I'm going to say 0-0.
I am gonna.
Arsenal a relegation scrap.
So Brighton, obviously, they'll come up short against West Ham 2-1, which means they'll go and beat Arsenal 1-0, putting Arsenal further in danger of going down this season. Brighton 1, Arsenal
to go down.
I think Brighton are going to win this. I genuinely think Brighton have deserved to win for so long this season, and if there's any team they fancy to luck up against at the moment, if Mikel Arteta is still in charge, 1-0 Brighton.
Honestly, would you rather face Sheffield United or Arsenal right now?
I'd rather play Arsenal because Sheffield needs to win. Because Sheffield have to pick up points.
I think, like Arteta, I think Arsenal have a 8% chance of loss here, especially after the Chelsea game where they have a 65% chance of loss. I don't know if you guys saw this with Arteta.
Yeah, no, I saw.
I went with Arsenal to win 2-1.
No.
I think they got to be beating Brighton. If they lose to Brighton, Arteta's gone. They've got to beat Arteta. They've got to beat Brighton.
I think Arteta should be a data analyst instead of a manager. Clearly, he's very good with tactic and data analysis, but he can't manage anyone for shit.
What was he on about? 7% loss to Spurs. What? I don't get it.
Yeah. He's lost the plot. Southampton versus West Ham. This should be a good game.
Arsenal job does that to you.
Yeah. Southampton, West Ham, two teams quite similar at the moment, I'd argue. Maybe Southampton are a bit better. I'm going to go for 2-2.
2-2.
We seem to have a lot of the same thought processes this week. I'm also saying 2-2.
Do you want to know something funny, guys? I've also went for 2-2.
You
know the slot machines where it's like 3 come down? It was like,
yeah.
It's Christmas time. It's time for sharing. We're sharing scores with each other.
So I'm putting down a bet this week. West Ham to beat Brighton 2-1. West Ham to beat Brighton 2-1. Saints West Ham to be 2-2 for the next 2 West Ham games. Interesting. West Brom versus Leeds. Anthony.
I went with 3-1 to Leeds. Similar thought process to my Leeds Burnley score. Same result as well.
I'm going to go for this to finally be the game where Sam Allardyce starts to realise that his team could possibly do something. So West Brom Leeds, I'm going to go for 1-1.
I do have Leeds to win, but I'm actually starting to change my mind a bit. You know what? I'm going to say screw it. 1-0 to West Brom. Why not? It's Christmas. I'm going a bit mental. Why not? Come on.
Get on them.
To be honest, if you're wrong, it's not like it's going to affect your score.
Get on them bloody snowballs. Get on them snowballs, my son. Burnley versus Sheffield. Screw it. I'm going to go wild for this game as well. Burnley Sheffield is going to be 0-0.
Whoa, calm down. I've went 1-0 to Burnley. Good old-fashioned Burnley 1-0.
Yeah, this it's got to be the old-fashioned 1-0 to Burnley. This is the only possible scoreline from this game. Even if it doesn't finish 1-0 in spirit, it's a 1-0.
I actually might put a bet on that to be 1-0 and then the West Ham scores that we got. Man United versus Wolves, another interesting game. Anthony?
I went once again. United's won 3-2. I think United's defense isn't as reliable, so they will concede. But going forward, they've just got too much firepower, and we've seen that this season. I think that's the story of their team. It's the old-fashioned thing with Liverpool. It used to be the Ferrari at the front, and then like a broken down car at the back. Talking about Liverpool's defensive attack. That is Man United right now. The front is like a Ferrari engine, and the back is a lemon.
Yeah,
3-2.
Oh, but Harry Maguire's won the most aerial duels.
He has. It's not his fault. It's not his fault. Lindelof's a paper bag.
I'll actually find he scored against Leeds, so he's an amazing centre back. I'll have you know.
Yeah, because centre backs are really brought in for their goal scoring.
Go on, Stephen. Take it away.
2-0 to Man United. I've not been very kind to Wolves this week, and you know I'm more of a cat person, so I'm going to be rude to the Wolves anyway. So.
Lovely. I wanted to put a draw because I just really hate United and I want to see them not win as much as possible. But I've already got them down to draw this week, so I'm going to go for Wolves to win. No, Man United to win 2-1. Man United.
None of us back in Wolves.
Yeah, I think it's what Ant said. I think they're firing power. I don't think. Yeah. Tottenham versus Fulham. I'm going to go the exact same score. I'm going to go 2-1 to Spurs. And Stephen.
Before I give my prediction, I just want to point out that Brentford have beaten more Premier League teams this season than Fulham.
Okay. You didn't mention it.
No, but yeah, so I'm going to say 3-1 to Tottenham. I think Brentford will still have beaten more Premier League teams than Fulham by the time this week ends. So, yeah.
Anthony.
I went 4-1 at Spurs. Harry Kane and Son, they're going to be a bit pissed off. Even though they've beat Wolves and got the winning streak back, they're still going to be a bit pissed off. And bullying someone smaller than you is the best way to do that. It's 4-1.
Happy days. Last but not least, Newcastle United versus Liverpool.
Okay, so this is not the prediction I've noted down, but because it's Christmas, I'm going to give everybody a nice spicy gift here. And I'm going to say...
Newcastle points here.
No, I'm going to say 8-0 to Liverpool.
If they do that, Stephen, I will transfer you 20 quid. Truthfully.
If Liverpool beat Newcastle 8-0, then Stephen wins the entire month.
Yeah, actually, I'm willing to say that. Yeah, if they win 8-0, Stephen, you win this month.
Yeah, screw it. I'm down for it. If Liverpool win 8-0, Stephen wins.
If Newcastle play against Liverpool like the way they played against Brentford's B team essentially this week, then this could be bad.
Yeah, but Liverpool haven't scored 8 in a fixture. I think I'd have to do my research, but I'm pretty sure not since the 80s.
It's Christmas, mate. What do you reckon, Anthony?
Liverpool to win 3-1. Same scoreline I had City beating Newcastle with, by the way, as well. I've gone for similar scorelines for teams to lose this week.
Yeah, my original prediction was 3-0, but I was like, you know what? It's Christmas. It's time to give some festive cheer to all your ears.
But I think Liverpool aren't going to play all the starters this time. That's why I think either Salah or Mane is only playing a half.
And for my last prediction of this round, I am going for Liverpool to win 3-0.
Oh, yeah.
Is this the last fixtures before 2021, or is there still games?
There is.
I think so.
Yeah, no, it's the last one.
No games on New Year's Eve.
Okay, so I think at the end of this, then we'll have our winner.
Yeah. So there you go.
And then we start New Year's Day. Are they playing, or is it second?
New Year's Day, first, I think there are games.
Yeah, New Year's Day, I think.
Yeah, okay. Then we start again. Then we start again for fixtures in 2021.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
So Stephen's put it on the line.
Big week for us.
Fair play to you. And on that note, that's the end of the podcast. We wish everybody a Merry Christmas. I don't know when the podcast.
It won't be Christmas by the time this goes out.
I wish everybody a very good Boxing Day, and
it definitely won't even be Boxing Day.
We hope everybody.
You're looking at the 28th or something here.
We hope everybody will have a really good 29th of December.
It will be closer to New Year's than Christmas by the time this comes out.
Happy New Year. I hope you've all had a great Christmas. I had a great time. I got pissed quite a lot. So, yeah.
I watched Brooklyn v Boston in the NBA, which will be fun in my house because my brother supports Boston and I support Brooklyn.
I watched Chelsea absolutely blast Arsenal on Boxing Day. Anyway, yeah, thank you for watching. See you next time. Feliz Navidad.
Toodaloo.
Vor Weihnachten.
I don't know what that means.
I'm not saying.
It's Merry Christmas in German.
Language. I'm not saying anything in different language.
Or in Japanese, Merry Christmas. And that's not me being racist. That's actually what it is.
Cultural appropriation.
Well, I know to end the podcast on.
Stephen Hall, ladies and gentlemen. Stephen Hall.
Off the Woodwork Podcast. I'm not a racist. There we go. What a way to end on.
Yeah.
Oh dear.